Fun.
Hello, Chris.
Oh, buenos noches, Christina. How are you?
Buenos noches. Very good. And a little bit not scared, but curious. And the reason why is because I guess the person that is being read slash coached today is me.
Yeah, we've never done this. We had someone scheduled who canceled last week, and then we had another who canceled last minute. And then it's funny when those things happen. I was like, well, why? And it's our year end at work, right? So I'm busy working deals with the team and just didn't have a lot of time to spend and trying to like beg someone to come on the show.
Oh, and you've tried twice this week. Thank you very much for that. And
Oh.
but yeah, it's kind of weird because we just realized that we didn't communicate that this last guest wasn't going to be a guest, and it was very strange because you held your phone up and you were like, "Those are the only two messages that didn't send."
Yeah, wrong, Christina. So,
Oh,
so
very
here we
true.
are. I had there's something that has you triggered or something that you're noodling on. I've never been on this side of the microphone with you where, I'm in your field or dabbling in your outer consciousness and looking to solve things. So when I went into your records prior to firing up the Zoom meeting, and so for those who may be new to this, we're in the Akashic records, in the Akasha, according to Vedic scripture, is an element. It's the element that generates all the others. There's earth, wind, fire, water, Akasha, ether. Another way of perceiving this would be the quantum field, outer consciousness, super conscious, this, it's energy, right?
Well
So
done.
what we're doing is communicating with energy. And because we're made of energy, it stands to reason that this is possible. We're just putting up the antenna, and sometimes we're able to move things forward for people. So with that, I took a few minutes before we fired up the old Zoom and went into Christina's realm. And the first thing I saw
Oh boy, here
was
we go.
a bunch of, you go to like the parades on like Main Street, and it's like the small town parades, and you have the Shriners and those little cars. And then you're sitting there, and then all of a sudden, like all these little cars of Shriners come up, and they're like, and coming right around your back. They're all just kind of like sitting there and smiling and laughing. So I have no idea what any of that means. We fired up the Zoom, so I'm sure we'll investigate. But it seems like it's going to be a lively and fun time. All right. So, given that this is our first time, and we'll get back to regularly scheduled programming next week, what would make this an interesting conversation for you?
That's a good question. Tell me more about the Shriners. I can tell you what my first thought was, but I'm struggling to really link it up. So it'd be better if you just asked.
All right, I'll just describe what I'm seeing. So I don't have my Buddhas here. They're still in storage. But in the middle of the Shriners was like I guess it would be a Chinese Buddha, like the jolly one, with a big smile on his face, and the Shriners coming around. So it's almost, and then I heard the girl is on parade, but it was truncated. It's like girls on parade. Girls on parade. Man, I remember that old Rage song.
I love that song.
Okay. But it was bulls on parade, but girls, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to describe what I'm seeing just to kind of move some of this through.
Mm-hmm.
Support, active, stillness, present. So there's a support team that you're not fully leveraging that is there. And like it's like a little electric cars. It won't stop. So there's a place for you in the middle of all this where you're able to coordinate energetically the activity and the functions around you while you're able to hold space, and be still and be present while being very active on an energetic level. So because they're driving around a little herky jerky, they're not directed. They're just kind of running around and it feels like it's like, oh, over here, oh, over here, oh, over here, where it could be a more coordinated dance or orchestration of how it is that you're serving. And it's less about yourself and more about the work, right? And how it is that you're making yourself available to serve other people. And it's not that you can't do all that because there's no shortage. The support team has more support teams behind it, right? That are willing to come in and backfill and to help augment some of these other areas. But there is a necessity for you to get specific and command. And while it's easy for you to command others or activities, I suppose, right? The students, et cetera, it seems like there's a little bit of a block between you commanding externally and you commanding internally, because you still feel this connection between those items up in the ether and what's going on in your brain and in your heart. But they need to be told what to do. It's as if you were to go to the airline desk. What do you typically fly? Like Delta, American, United, Korean?
The cheapest usually, but in the past, I think it was American Airlines, or no, American and Delta.
Okay. So it's a bit like going up to the Delta desk at LAX. So I want to go somewhere. Okay, ma'am, where do you want to go? I don't know. I just want to go somewhere. I'd go anywhere, but I definitely don't want to go to Dayton, Ohio. Right. So there needs to be more guidance because all these other places have lovely features and perhaps not lovely features, but there needs to be more specificity around what it is that you are putting out there when you're calling, when you should be calling for assistance and support.
Nail on the head.
Does that make sense?
100% now. I get it. And it has a big thing to do with some of my mentorship training that I had today and that I've had in the past. And it's very spot on. So there's some validation in there. So yeah.
So I'm a big fan of pragmatism. So let's see if we can come up with like one or two things that you could actually do with that.
Yes, yes. But I will say that the reason that I haven't commanded is like, I'm very overwhelmed by the choices. My first session with my mentor, she was like, you could do anything and it would be perfect. And there are just so many things that you could do. So it just feels like I'm just being drawn to energetic work, energy work. I mean, we're doing energy work, right? But it's like physical energy, holding objects with energy, spirits with energy, coming to like everything is an energy healing. And I don't know. And I always consider myself not to be an energy person. Anyway, yes, let's think of some, maybe with the records to all collaborate and see what we can come up with. So, my first reaction to that is maybe I should, because I'm happy with coaching, which is weird to have this conversation right now. I'm very happy with coaching, but there are other things that it does spark me, definitely, but there are some other things that also light me up, like past life regressions. And traveling and helping other people do that for themselves. And But then I don't know, Chris, give me some insight on this energy work, or what, any guidance I can have about choosing some of the things.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
I've heard that all through my treatment in the past 3 months. That's the same sentence I've heard. Go ahead.
Funny. Okay. Okay. So it's around the highest good, right?
Okay.
And so when you said coaching, you're like, yeah, I could coach. Okay. So to me, that reaction means you just throw that off to the side.
Okay.
It didn't seem like it lit you up in a way that doing past life regression work may.
Yes, you're right. There's a ranking system now. I will admit that.
Okay.
I'm great at coaching.
Sure.
But and by the time I've coached somebody, like, I always look forward to the sessions, and especially with you. And when it's all done, I just feel like I'm on top of the world. That's very true. But there are some other things that feel better.
What feels better?
The past life regressions.
Yeah.
Past life regressions. I'm actually I'm noodling on this this group coaching thing, and I just can't get it off the ground, as in I haven't even started it yet, and it just feels like it's dragging, and now I'm starting to realize that maybe that's not what I should be doing.
Well, let's go back to the regression work.
Yeah.
And let's look for some verbs. When you say, when you come, you feel amazing, right? And so when you do this type of work with people, how does it make you feel? Give me some adjectives. Or
excited, passionate, and fulfilled.
And what is it about group coaching that would be worthwhile for you?
Well, the way I'm trying to do it right now, the way I'm executing it right now, the program I have kind of come up with ain't lighting the fire. So I would say stability, in that it would be a steadier, like a little bit higher income, as in it would be just something else that I would be doing on top of the coaching, and something consistent and something helpful for people. But when I'm already talking myself out of it, because what I'm trying to do is not get trapped in this like obligation. It's like, there's got to be something for me too. And it just doesn't light me up. But if I think about group coaching in a different way, there's only one other logical way I could do it. And that does light me up, because it is instruction.
Yes. Group mentoring and teaching.
Mentoring. There you go. That's the word. Teaching. Yeah. That teaching lights me up. And that's why I think regression work is good too. Now, little extra challenge. I've been working with my psychic medium mentor for several months, and our sessions have been coincidentally like scattered here and there, and I think it has to do with the work that I have to do myself, which is great. So it's been like nice and slow, and I've been excited to learn all the things. But today, when we learned about, what was it called? It's in my notes here. Psychometry.
Oh, psychometry. Okay.
When we talked about psychometry, I got so excited. It was like a dream come true. And I was just like, I felt like I won the lottery. Like, I get to do that today. And she gave me a lot of homework and she sent me a lot of photos of places that, because she, by the way, my mentor Kelly was on Ghost Adventurers on the Travel Channel or Discovery Channel or something like that. So she's like, she went on the adventure. She's been to these places. So she sent me these places. She sent me a missing persons case. Someone local, it's happening right now, and local to her in Oregon. And then she sent me a random photo of a pot, an old like 1970s pot, like cooking pot, right? And we're going to work together on that. So we're going to see what we can come up with. But the whole time I was just like, oh my God. And I told her this like 5 times. I said, out of everything you've taught me, this is the thing that I'm most excited about. And she said, because remember, psychic medium mentor, and she talks with my team, my guides, to see what I need support in and what I need instruction in. And then that's how she does the lessons for me, right? And she said, she was like, I can see that this will probably be your number one thing. Like, you're going to be using this like out the wazoo. And it's probably the easiest one. A lot of people, like, this is the first thing you usually get taught. You're already doing the hard shit. like this is easy. I was like, but it's not. This is something like, okay, I'll tell you. What was it? Oh, I dated myself. I put this challenge up for myself. I mean, technically every day's a date with me because it's a pandemic, but you know, it was like a special night. It was Halloween. That's what it was. And I was like, ooh, I'm going to have a Halloween party with myself. And I was like, okay, what would really thrill me the most for this Halloween party? And I planned, several things and everything. But one of the things, I was like, you know what? I just read an article on the Incan mummy girl that they found up in the mountains. I want to talk to her. And so to me, that's like my idea of a good time. And I remember picturing her as the mummy, and then she just showed up. And I was like, yay! And my mentor was like, yeah, that's kind of what you've been doing anyway. You just didn't know.
Isn't that funny? Yes.
Yeah. So insight, now that I've rambled on, I just wanted to give you a little bit of information to, compare notes to the Akasha for me.
Yeah. So your intuition, right, is, and we've talked about this before, just personally and on the podcast, and your intuition has always been strong. And oftentimes, right, when we have the basic human needs of rent, mortgage, cat food, dog food, kids, nephews, nieces, books on spirituality and talking to trees, these types of things, we still have to check those boxes. But if it feels like work and it's not fulfilling, are you in a position where you can put that aside and lean into those things that do get you excited and that do charge you up and that do light you up? I mean, that's your higher self saying, yes, more, please. Give me some of that.
Very true.
And it's been my experience that when we lean into that inner voice, that higher self, intuition, conscience, that things just magically fall in place. And you got blurry again. So your friends are visiting. Oh, now they're gone again. So when you find yourself in those moments of like, I really feel like I'm doing this, or you feel stressed, or it feels like work, pause, check in. All right, how does this make me feel? What adjective would I use to describe how I'm feeling? And if it falls in the passionate, energized category, great. If it falls in the, well, I need the money category, you have ways of making money, right? So we could argue without getting into your finances, but from what I understand, you're doing just fine.
Yeah.
Then you don't need to do it. Effortless. And I believe that's why we started off with the image of the happy Chinese Buddha, who's just sitting there with a nice little grin on his face. where everything else is there at your disposal, right? Just waiting to be commanded and directed. How do you know, Christina, when your highest good is being served, when that's being made manifest? What does it feel like to you?
It feels childlike. It feels exciting and fulfilling.
Hmm. Can you make yourself feel that on command? Do you know how to put yourself in that state, either by doing or sitting or?
Yeah. I mean, I can pull that vibration.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Good.
Like, no problem.
Yeah. Do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mean anytime?
When you're pulling that vibration, you're also exuding that vibration.
Oh, yeah, that clicked. Okay.
Right. So when it clicks for you, explain that to the group who doesn't speak Christina, Chrisese.
Yeah. When I say it clicked, it meant that it kind of really hit home. It kind of really hit the spot that it was kind of like I was wondering for a little bit of understanding. And then all of a sudden he said that and I understood everything. Like it connected. Okay. I understood everything and it really connected to my heart. It connected to my consciousness where I was like, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
So that scene has dissipated. Anything else around the Buddha and the clown cars? It's a great band, by the way.
Yeah. Buddha. That is a band. Oh my gosh. Maybe that's our new podcast name. We'd have to throw in a smattering of Chris on the over there too. So I don't know.
Buddha and she knows.
That's cool that you brought up the Buddha too, because everything is Buddha for me. I have Buddhas everywhere now. And I have a 17 Buddha change screen on my new computer named Monster. So.
Oh yeah. Okay. Is that new from? Well, as an aside, yes, it's new from when we last did a Zoom game night.
Yeah. It's not new from that because remember it changes. So you just saw one of the 17 figures, but no, you probably saw that when I was sharing my screen. All right, so on to maybe other stuff or to explore that. I'm done. I've done all right with the pandemic. All right, as in I haven't lost my patience really with it, even though it like stinks for the most part. As in exterior, I'm not talking interior. Interior, I'm doing great, and I'm more introspective than ever. Just wondering when I have an opportunity to travel very soon to several different places. And up until now, maybe this week, I postponed my Thanksgiving trip, postponed my Christmas trip. I just didn't feel it was right. Any insight on if it's upcoming and right? And I kind of just got to answer with that. Like myself, I don't know. Just want to hear it from a different mouth, maybe.
Okay, so the question is, when am I going to be able to travel again?
Yeah, Or should I be traveling?
Well, we already took you to the counter of an airline earlier in the call, so we'll.
Yeah, just explore it. Keep going on that.
So, one, do you know where you want to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's family related for the first two, and then the other one is kind of the ticket's really dang cheap, and I know someone who lives there.
So I'm getting May. You could fly in May.
Okay. I'll wait till then.
Yeah, it's like it's this weird like thermometer scale of like I'm seeing colors. Well, it's not weird. Weird is a word I'm trying to excise from my vocabulary.
Together.
Yes. Single weirdness alone together. SWAT team.
Yeah.
And so there's this band of like colors. Like when is it green? Right. So it's like red, orange, yellow, green, blue. And so we get like the back half of April, May, June, July clear. So I don't know what the vaccine situation is today or today. I mean, who knows? I mean, fuck, whatever the rules are this hour.
Yeah.
But it feels like late April, early May is when you could like do it without needing to be too concerned.
Okay, good.
But if you could wait till June or July, all the better.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not you, right? We're also factoring in other people and
exactly.
Right.
I'm doing it for myself, but not because I'm scared of the coronavirus. I'm scared of everybody else.
Right.
And about everyone else, for everyone else. And then the places that I want to go, like Nashville, how careful are they? I don't think they're very careful. I have observed from afar. I'm just like, why would I want to do that when I just stay in strict California? So, okay, it's good to know.
Yeah. So shoot for like late April, early May for Nashville. When you mentioned Nashville, I got like a certain segment there. So it feels like you going back home is important.
Yeah. It's been over a year now.
Yeah. But there's more there. I mean, it's not just you, right? There's some pulling of you to there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Late April, third week of April is like, just the end of orange and into yellow.
Okay, cool.
I've never seen that thermometer band before. That was fun.
Oh, that's cool.
It's like, oh, it's just like a little sliding scale.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for the visual.
Is there anywhere else that you're considering going? Do you want to check?
Oh, well, New York to see my grandma. I haven't seen it's my father's mother, and I haven't seen her since my father's funeral on May 5th, 2018.
Oh, that's weird. It like flipped. Okay.
That's pretty important.
Yeah, like New York.
I'm not as scared of New York, but what I'm really scared of is how strict it is there. As in, I don't want to like violate anything by just traveling there. Right now, it's like coming back to California right now it's too hectic for me. I'm not game for that.
Yeah, so like an overlap. I'm looking just for like an overlap of like yellow green.
Yeah.
So you could just do one big trip, right? Is that how you're thinking of doing it?
No,
Chunky?
I was just gonna do a Nashville and back, and then a New York and back, and then one other place and back, maybe.
Yeah, that one feels more like June, July.
Okay. And then Hawaii. That's the other place.
Well, it's green if they'll let you in.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that feels like it's interesting because that one's like the opposite. It's like green and then gets yellower. So it's like people are going to like be like leaving and going, right? And wanting to go get out of town or go to their typical vacation spots. So if you could get to Hawaii now, you could go.
No, I can't right now because the place where I'm going to stay, which is my friend's house, they've had visitors all like for the holidays. And so they're taking a break and they're going to have a lot of visitors living in Hawaii. Apparently you get a lot of visitors.
Yes.
So the time I wanted to go was March, but she was like, oh, my father's coming in for that. He's coming from San Diego. And so I said, oh yeah, no, don't, like, if we got to put it off a couple months, let's put it off a couple months because you guys don't need to always have a guest. So,
right.
You know?
In terms of your safety, it's good. You can go.
Okay. All right. Well, cool. Yeah. Let me think. What else do I want to ask you about? Because this was kind of impromptu, right? Didn't really get to sit with any questions. It's kind of a surprise, this whole thing. Hmm. Where do I want to take myself? It's kind of cool. It's like I'm at the Delta desk of you. It's just like I could go anywhere right now. And you're just like, what do you want to ask? I'm like, I don't know, anywhere. Just don't ask about, what was it, Dayton? You said.
Right.
Okay. It's just my concerns just come back with the what the hell am I supposed to do thing. But I want to target that. Some questions in there.
Okay.
Am I doing I feel just more drawn to, I know this is weird, but like a Buddha lifestyle, just simple, a little bit more minimalist, and a little bit heavier, like more of a disconnect from the outside world. I'm not saying like moving my physical abode or body. I'm saying just existing in this space, living as if I was living in a temple more than living in the outside world. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does. Why?
I'm just feeling like that would just make me a better. It's first of all, it feels like I'm being called to do that, but it feels like I'm being fake by living so like with outside influence, which I've recently done a lot of journaling on about how I've always felt like a misfit in the world in a way. For very, very like a various cornucopia of reasons. It feels like I play a lot of scripted roles because I'm human. But what I really want to do is not do that so much. But I'm already putting some self-judgment on it, but it's more of the woo side where it's more of I don't want to label myself a, hippie, bohemian, crazy witch kind of. But then again, it's just me and I fit under none of those really. I fit under a lot of things, but maybe not so much labels. Insight?
Is there a question in there?
Maybe. I think the question is just validate if that's the right way.
To go hide in a cave?
I'm not hiding in a cave.
Okay.
I'm just existing a little bit more inward than outward.
Right now. Or that's what you feel?
No, I feel like I should be doing that more. And not because I'm trying to shun people. Actually, it's the opposite. I feel more drawn to be in crowds now. And I feel more drawn to be out. Like I have discovered, I mean, I knew I was an extrovert, but I just do better in groups and in crowds. But when I'm at home, like for example, watching Netflix, which is fine. That's great. But I feel like I should be doing it heavier on the internal.
And that is
spiritual internal.
Right. And have you ever taken an Enneagram test? Have you heard of that?
Yeah, I think I did after we talked about it once.
Okay. All right.
Why?
We'll file that away for February. The Enneagram is an interesting personality profiling. And it's like I keep seeing and hearing effort, less, less effort, less, right? And to open up with such a vivid scene of the Buddha with a bunch of like Shriners driving around him. was a fascinating gravitas that we brought into the conversation, center of gravity. And you can be in a cave and find consciousness, right?
Right.
An important distinction is that you actually enjoy being around people. And this isn't a flight from the pandemic. It's not a flight from 2020 and the first week and a half of 2021. So why is it important for you to listen to this call of maybe going on a retreat? But a retreat, like not an officially organized retreat,
Oh.
but you just taking time to go be in nature and sit and feel and think and contemplate. You'll find what you're looking for when you're out in nature and by yourself. And it may not be for 4 months. It may just be for a long weekend.
Yeah.
And having access to nature, Gaia, earth energy, and using that as a way to fill you up. I don't want to say to recharge you because it's not it. It's like the inverse. Like you get recharged by being around people, and that's not necessarily available to us right now. And then it's like forced exile for you to be by yourself. And not because you're unwilling or uncomfortable to be with yourself, but it's just, it's like introvert, extrovert, and
Yeah.
different modes, modalities to charge yourself up. Okay, so this will get a little personal.
Let's do it, because I'm about to ask something personal too, but go ahead.
Okay. A way for you to continue to improve upon your personal health is to reconnect with nature. Mm-hmm. And to go on this hike, right, begins really with a step or 2 or 3. And this calling for you to go be in a cave, and I know those aren't your words, those are mine, but that's just what I'm seeing. But for you to go sit in solitude is also like a mechanism for you to get out into the world and move your body. So as part of your treatment,
Yeah.
right? And there's like, oh fuck, do I really have to go get on a treadmill? Or I'm making that up because we haven't talked about it.
Right.
But do I really have to go walk around the block 17 times? I've been walking in circles for like 9 months, right? Or 10 months. You're going to have to drive out of the city 60 to 90 minutes to do this. And this could, Christina, be even a cabin in like Big Bear, like an Airbnb or something, right? Mm-hmm. Where then you're out moving, feeling the energy, the eyeballs, the little things flying around out there, and using that as a way to communicate and to let go and to shed, right? And to then be reinvigorated, where it's just you and the elements. It's a really nice balance between this part of your life with treatment, right? Which you can't sequester. I mean, it's just, we have our things, and this is just part of, where you are. And also this call, right? So it's almost as if this call is like giving you another way to get out and move your body.
Yeah, that was perfect. Thank you. Absolutely perfect.
So you're not wrong in thinking that, right?
Yeah.
But it's almost like you have a little personal trainer up there in one of those clown cars.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. That's good, because, it really resonated with me when you said, like, for the last 9 months, I've been doing the same circle. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. All right. So, by the way, that wasn't as personal as I thought you were going to get. I'm a little disappointed. No, I'm just joking.
Let's talk about your sexuality, madam.
No. Well, funny you should mention that, because I was going to say, because of going inward, I do feel I have been, I've changed. I mean, everybody is essentially the same, right? But your essence is the same. But the way I operate, the way I think of myself has drastically changed.
Hmm.
The way I feel I fit or don't fit into the world has drastically changed for the better. Just saying. And I feel like because I've had such a flip to my conscious awareness of how I fit into space, of the world around me, and then what I really desire and really want for myself, and the way I really am is going to present this whole new experience when I experience groups again. It's going to, and when I date again, because when I used to date, which I haven't dated for a very long time for a variety of reasons, but when I used to date, and then what I'm feeling like, my behavior about dating is automatic when I'm thinking about dating again, but yet all of a sudden I'm like, but that's not what I want. So things have totally turned on their head. So it's very exciting for me to think about this. It's a very exciting time. But any insight that you can offer me? Now, I'm chopping out the bit to try out my new sea legs here, and to just go out and see how I fit into the world again because of going inward and, my new awareness of myself and the way I have centered and speak to my own needs. So it's like,
Okay.
why did I get a devilish grin?
Because you're giving me a devilish, what's going to come out of that magic ball look?
Very true. I mean, I guess we're both like,
Yeah. All right. I'm trying to line up a couple of questions out of that.
okay.
Oh shit. All right. This is completely alien to you.
Oh, here we go. In a good way.
Okay. It's non-binary. And these are big dark eyes and tannish, no, like elephant colored skin.
Okay.
So it's almost like a treatise on sexuality
Okay.
and how it's like partisan, right? It's like there's this group over here and there's this group over here. And what they're showing me is like a bell curve. Like it's like no, it's like it's a spectrum. It's a bell curve, and you're not either this or that, right? And you know this, right? But I think it's going somewhere. So I wanted to just kind of block what this looks like. It's energy, and to connect with the energy, irrespective of the physical form that it shows up in.
Mm-hmm.
And when you feel that connection, that's what's worth exploring. Not because they have a penis or a vagina or something in between, a vagina or Venus.
But I will tell you, I have a very strong fancy for penises.
Yeah. Well, I know. And we've talked about like dick, right? Yeah, I get that. But just because we like to eat Mexican food 3 nights a week and Indian 3 nights a week doesn't mean that we can't have Cantonese every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And to follow the energy and what resonates, because there's that exchange, right? So this is not as transactional as it is communal.
Mhm.
Right. So whether we're talking about being out in groups or working in groups or your dating life, the immediate thing that I saw before I started running my mouth on this part was the energy exercise that we kind of got into at the beginning. And, and just to use those verbs, right, of the desired state to sit, count down from 10 to 1 or 3 to 1 or whatever, however you need to get to where you need to get to. Well, I'm assuming so. And sometimes you're able to alter your state quickly and how you feel energetically after some conditioning to get into a relaxed physical and mental state. And knowing that you, Christina, know how to do that, the mantra, if you wanted to use one, would then just be those words to tune into that frequency. And then that's how you engage in those circumstances.
Mhm.
And to say, it's like, and perhaps when you're unleashed into the world in this next version of yourself, you'll want to go smell all the flowers, which is okay. You can do that. That might be exhausting, but just because the flowers are there does not mean that you need to go smell all of them.
Mhm.
So you be discerning. And kind of once you get into that, once you recognize on command that energetic state or that vibrational state, that's how you can quickly just okay, yes, that flower, no, this one, yes, no, right? And no matter what their exterior is, or albeit just there's
Yeah.
agreements between you and them.
Mhm. Well, I mean, what I'm getting from that, and that's very interesting you said that, is because the people that I'm resonating more with now are not people that I used to resonate with.
Yeah.
So, the people, so yeah, I'm on a different maybe vibration now. So, yeah, what you said is true. I definitely, it's going to be an adventure because I know what people look like as humans, but I don't know what people look like as vibrations, even though I work in vibrations all the dang time. It's just totally different now than a year ago.
Wow.
What up, man?
All right, fuck it.
What? I'm
So
scared.
no, I know you're not. I
Okay.
am. So let's talk about some of this other dimensional energy.
Mhm.
There's the human aspect, but this up leveling of society that we're constantly in the middle of, right? There's always some sort of evolution going on, but certainly a lot going on over the last few months. It just, yeah, like it has you tuned in to, it's almost now like you're, like you're in this other dimension where you're communicating with these beings and this, I'm just, this is something that I'm seeing. And so the instruction that I'm getting was from non-human forms of energy. And so, yes, it's just when humans have reached the saturation point of human experiences, only then can these discoveries be made. And then by a flash of interior light, you see the world as it is. See that the objects and the situations that we've put ourselves in before, which we've desired, and how they revolve. And they're non-linear, Christina. Right? They always appear and disappear to us as a species and to us individually many times. It stands to reason that we become conscious that there is a way, that there is a better way, and that we desire to find it. So when we begin to discover the futility of human effort for the things of the world to the time when they enter, we'll see many changes in their environment, in their occupations, in their associations, and in their physical bodies. And so this work that you've done in treatment, along with the work that you've done energetically, and the work that you've done at the human level, are just converging. And there's a coherence. It's a cool thing to see.
It's a cool thing to hear you verbalize, so thank you. Yeah, I feel like I'm there. And I feel like 2021 is going to be a big year for me. I feel like it's this, what is it, the 12th of January? 12th of January, 1 year is going to, everything's going to be on its head for me.
Well, you have a lot of support.
Thank you.
I know that you don't feel alone, right?
No.
Not in the classical sense.
Not in the classical sense.
But it would be good for you to start feeling like you're part of something bigger than you.
Very true. Mm-hmm.
And that it is there. You are part of something. There are commitments that you've made. It's just not necessarily something that you can see all the time or touch, right? There's so much that's beyond our comprehension. And it's entirely up to you.
Yep.
But there's no pressure. You don't have to do anything other than what you're doing now.
I tell myself that every day. Thank you for saying that again. I appreciate that.
Do you? Okay.
That thrilled me.
It's even if all you do is sit there and direct the clown cars to go serve, that's more than enough.
Yeah. And I said that exactly yesterday, that my intention for this week, because I was in my support group, my intention for this week was to acknowledge that I can still be moving forward while standing still.
Was it Kierkegaard said that life is lived looking forward and understood looking backward?
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, you're the best. Thank you for reading me today.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was a treat for me, and I feel, you know what? I'm just going to take it. I'm not going to feel guilty that I haven't given something back in return, because I usually feel like that. So I'm just going to be like, I accept the fact that, if you noticed, I put on a lot of makeup today, which is weird.
Oh.
First of all, putting on makeup, usually I just do my eyes for the podcast, for the YouTube version of us, right? But today, I don't know why, but I wanted to put on full makeup and make myself up like I were to be going out, which is very significant. It's the first time since our first episode. Our first episode, of course, I'm a little nervous. I was perfectly dolled up. And after that, everything, just fell by the wayside because, that's not how I usually dress at all. But I put on full makeup today and thinking that I was going to be coaching in tandem with you. And then I come here and I realize, okay, I get it, why I made myself up.
You deserve it.
I do. So, yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you to you and to my entire team above.
Right.
Well,
my
Chris,
pleasure.
thank you so much. And yeah, see you next week.
We will. Back to regularly scheduled programming.
Yep.
Ciao, mama.